car insurance is the biggest Ponzi scheme. Well, maybe health insurance is right up there with it, but this is my story. And at the end, because this truly is happening to a lot of people, I'm going to give some tips that you really need to be aware of so that this does not happen to you and you can protect yourself if, God forbid, you get in a really bad car accident like I did. All right, let's get into story time. It was July 17th, 2021. I had actually just gotten off of Rainbow River. I had filmed a top 10 tips before you visit, and I'll link that one below in the description. I had left Rainbow River, went home, picked my son up, and we were doing a dump run really quick. About 2 miles from the dump, a gentleman fell asleep at the wheel at about 3:45 in the afternoon. I was stopped at a red light. There were 2 other cars behind me. He was doing 65, which was way over the speed limit, mind you, for that road. And he didn't stop. And he caused a very serious car accident. So we were in the front. We took the hit from all 3 cars behind us. And the biggest mistake that I made was when we heard that first hit of him hitting the first car, I had turned and I looked in the side mirror to see what in the world was happening. And I saw the other 2 cars slamming into us. Because of that, I was super tensed up, and because my head was turned, the impact of the collision was so bad that it ruptured 3 discs in my spine. So here's the scar from my spinal surgery. It ruptured those 3 discs, and your spinal cord sits like this. You have fluid and then you have your discs. Well, when the impact happened, those discs pushed into my spinal cord and there was no more fluid. It also really damaged my right knee because my foot was on the brake. We were stopped at the red light and the impact threw my knee into the dash, and so it basically liquefied the cartilage in my right knee. And then it also ruptured 3 discs in my low back as well. So I had C3 through C7 in my cervical area, and then my lumbar area, I had 3 as well in my knee. Now, because the truck is a 99, those bad boys, yes, can take a hit without being completely crumpled and totaled. But the flip side of that is the newer cars smash like an accordion, so they take the impact. Well, because the truck is steel, it did not take the impact like the newer cars, which meant our bodies took the impact. And Dylan ended up with ruptured discs as well and some injuries. So the ambulances got there, took us to the hospital, and no joke, 2 months prior in Florida, my husband at the time was working for ADT Security. He was an alarm technician. He got hit by a drunk driver, and he was stopped at a light. He was stopped behind a semi truck, and when the drunk driver flew off the off ramp on the 75 in Ocala, he ended up hitting Gary, and Gary's work truck got shoved underneath the semi-truck in front of him.
Yeah, he swerved over into the grass when he was coming off the exit, overcorrected, and came back into it. I didn't see the actual crash.
Yeah, I'm surprised the airbags didn't go off.
So we had already had our attorney, which I'll link him below. And no, we did not pick him because he was popular on YouTube. He did not have a YouTube channel at that point in time, but it's his channel now is at The Lawyer You Know. So we had already hired him for Gary's case, and they were just like, are you serious? This was 2 months later that this accident happened to us. So thank God we got an attorney, because we had no idea the battle that we were about to face. So thankfully, they got me set up with my orthopedic office. Dr. Victor Hayes was my surgeon. He is up by Tampa, and got all of the things that I needed, you know, the testings, the MRIs, all of that. So we had tried for several months to see if there was a way to heal it, because spinal surgery is, number one, terrifying. It's also very risky. But I knew at that point that that was going to be the end result, because, you know, my surgeon was just honest from the get-go, and he, you know, had just said, like, there is no way to heal those discs or fix them without this surgery, because they had to be removed. They were splintered, and the problem was, if I had a fall, if I got into another car accident, they could sever the spinal cord, which would have made me paralyzed from the neck down. Even doing nothing over time would have caused paralysis. So about a year later, they were battling it out with the health insurance, trying to get my health insurance to pay for it, because at this point, our car insurance company was a complete nightmare. Now, the problem is, the guy who caused the car accident had the minimal coverage. Minimal. I think his policy was like $25,000. And because there were 3 cars with serious injuries, a lot of damage, that just did nothing. So we had to go to our car insurance, because we had full coverage, to try to get stuff done. Well, they were blocking it at every corner. They didn't want to pay out on the policy that we have been paying on for years. So year 1 comes around, and my health insurance declined it. They would not pay for the surgery. My surgeon, Dr. Hayes, ended up having to do an appeal process, video calls, all of this, explaining, no, this is not a surgery that she wants. This is a surgery that she needs. Finally got it approved. And a month and a half before my surgery was scheduled, my mother-in-law was diagnosed with cancer. I had to make the call to postpone my surgery to take care of my mother-in-law, which, by the way, don't regret at all, you know. And it's like, I told my surgeon, look, hers can kill her, mine cannot. And that was how I made that choice. Now, a year after that, so year 2, finally had it on the books, and this was the process of my surgery and what it looks like now in my neck.
All right, I figured I'll do a quick video. I have surgery. I don't even know what time it is right now. It's almost 10:30. The night before, my pre-op is at 6 a.m. Surgery is at 7. So I gotta be up by 3 to shower and get ready and drive up to where I'm having surgery at. Honestly, just can't put into words. I just really hope and pray that the surgery is a success, and I can get somewhat back to a normal life without being in so much pain and so limited on what I can do. That just was never an issue, and I just still can't believe it's an issue at my age now after the accident. So figured I'd just do a little bit of a diary journal, put my thoughts down, So I'm just too tired to write it out, and it's just easier to videotape it. Alright, getting ready, waiting for Dr. Hayes. So, see you on the flip side. Alright, so this is the third morning after the surgery. Swelling, still pretty bad in the neck. It's hard to talk still. Swallow. Sleep has been next to nothing, because trying to sleep sitting up is awful, and it hurts the rest of my back from the other discs in my low back. So yeah, it's been rough so far, but this is morning number 3, Friday morning, so hopefully with each day it'll get a little bit easier and the pain will be a little bit better. This is Bobo's idea of being a helpful Nana. You see this dog? He's crazy, but he is being very gentle. He is trying to take good care. Although he's wanting to be attached to my hip because he knows I don't feel good with that sweet face. But he's also taking my bed. So this is his bed he's supposed to be on. And he's got a foot on it and one partial. Hey. Get that sweet face. I will also say, I would not be me if I did not ask him if there are any household chores that I am allowed to do at all right now. He gave me the best look and he's like, no. It was pretty funny though. I did try. It's driving me crazy, I'm not gonna lie. When you own a Mastiff and you've had surgery, Mastiffs won't leave your side. Okay, this is a recovery update. So, let's see, this coming Wednesday, today is Saturday, March 11th. So I'm like 4.5 weeks post-op, coming up on my 5 week, which will be this coming Wednesday. So I feel like I'm finally turning a corner. I was finally able to stop the nausea medication. I've been off that for 2 days, which is nice. The nausea has subsided. Still get sore if I'm talking a lot or if I have to talk loudly, which I know is normal, obviously. Sleep is still it's next to nothing. So I tried to, you know, if I can take cat naps during the day to kind of help compensate, I do. But it's still very difficult to sleep, especially in the collar. I'm still having to sleep on the couch because it's just not feasible to sleep in my bed right now. But at least the pain is getting better, and the nausea is getting better, because that was really rough for about the first 4 weeks. Like I said, I've been off the nausea medicine for about 2 days. I had to just deal with the pain for the third week going into week 4, because I obviously can't drive and I couldn't get a ride up there to go pick up another prescription, so that was rough. Okay, so collar is now off. Not sure if that is like stitching coming through. There's one part on my scar where it feels like something is coming up. It's definitely raised. I know it'll take time to, at least I hope it flattens out over time. Definitely stiff, sore.
from, you know, having my neck in a position, I mean, besides the surgery, but having my neck stuck in that position for 6 weeks. So I have lost more movement. So this is as far as I can go on this side now. And then this side. And then here is up and down. Down is hard. I mean, all 4 ways are hard. So hopefully, you know, after these muscles get strengthened back again and I can start moving around normally, this will loosen up a little bit. But yeah, there's been a lot of loss of motion. I mean, since the accident, you know, that first initial loss after the injury, but more after the surgery. So still a long way to go. And then obviously, you know, still the injury to my right knee and my low back, but that's just having to be put on hold while this heals, so that, you know, just take care of one thing at a time is my goal. But very, very happy and excited to have the brace off. That was a rough 6 weeks. So we have the surgery, year 2, still duking it out. The insurance company still will not pay. Because they chose not to pay on our own policy for the limits that we had, we were able to file a lawsuit. It was a bad faith claim. That's what we've been paying for, right? You pay your car insurance, you set your policy limits for a specific reason. And that reason is, if God forbid something happens and somebody causes an accident like this, your policy is supposed to cover it. They wouldn't cover anything and they wouldn't release any money. So we go through the process, we file the lawsuit and start going through, you know, the process of depositions and everything else. And our trial date was set. They were, I'll be honest, intentionally screwing with us. I mean, it was to the point to where my attorneys, I ended up having 3 because there's, you know, different parts of your lawsuit that you're going through. So each time it hit a different part, I had a different attorney at this firm. So what they were doing was they were not giving us any notice. I mean, they would tell us the night before, hey, you have to be, you know, up by Tampa in the morning for this deposition, for this, you know, medical examination that's going to be video recorded. We would show up and they just wouldn't show up. They weren't even telling my attorney. The first time they did this to us, we sat there and waited with my attorney for an hour before they sent the message saying, oh yeah, sorry, we're just not going to be there today. So they did it again, a second time. And that third time I finally was like, yeah, we're just going to tell them no. Like if this does not work out for us, we're just going to tell them no, because this is absolutely ridiculous. We would have to change things. Gary would have to get time off work. I would have to, you know, have my mother-in-law's appointments changed around to be up there, because that's like an hour and 45 minutes for us. Not to mention the gas to drive that far and the toll fees, right? So they finally stuck with it the third time we go through. And this whole time, their defense counsel is working so hard to try to use my YouTube channel, social media, everything else to try to catch me in a lie. Well, the problem for them is I didn't lie. And they were trying to say, at the time I was 45, they were trying to say, oh, it's just because of your age. And I said, yeah, absolutely not. Like, I literally filmed this video and had proof I filmed that video and was paddling and was swimming and all this other stuff that day. Never had a problem. Gym memberships, running on the treadmill, never had a problem, right? So we get to the actual deposition day, which is about 2 weeks before our trial date. We go through the deposition And the defense attorney makes a comment and he says, you know, I've been watching your YouTube channel and I just feel like, you know, I've gotten to know you and your family and you're personable. And that was the thing. They could not find any lies because I hadn't told any lies. They saw my YouTube channel and they knew that regular people would relate to me. They knew that with this societal shift, people are so fed up with getting screwed by insurance company. They're sick of it. Whether it is car insurance, health insurance, homeowners insurance, people are fed up. So we had to make an offer at the end of that. Now we were completely ready. I was roaring to go. I wanted my time in court. I wanted to be able to get in front of a jury and tell the story and let people know how badly this affected my life. And I cannot state that enough. I will never have, I mean, this is as high as I can go up now to look. This is as low. I lost about 35% of my movement. I cannot turn from side to side because I have titanium now. And I wanted to be able to explain how badly this affected me. Mentally, emotionally, physically, it took a toll. And by this point, we were at year 3. Year 3 of having people follow us around. I mean, some of the video that they had, that they played at the deposition was so outrageous. So outrageous, you know. They would park far from our house and, you know, record me. One instance in particular, it was literally the day we got back from my dad's memorial service in San Diego. And they tried to say, this was a year before my surgery, they tried to say that I was not hurt because I was getting a duffel bag out of the car. And I told the story in the deposition and I said, you know, I'm not worried. Like, hey, most of us, we're not rich. Life doesn't end when you get injured. Life doesn't end when we have a car accident. There is no payment that we can get. There, you know, there's nothing we can do. It's not like we can sign up for unemployment. It's not like we can sign up for disability. So what? You just don't live. You don't have to do normal stuff. And I told the defense attorney, I have no problem telling the jury what I was doing. I have no problem telling the jury that that was the day we got back from my dad's memorial service. And that will resonate with people. They had a video of us, me, Gary, and Thomas walking into Wawa and getting a sandwich. Walking into Wawa and getting a sandwich. So not only did it affect physically, but just knowing they were everywhere. They had videos of me walking into my surgeon's office, you know, was just ridiculous. So at the end of that deposition, we were fully expecting for this to be a fight. We knew it was going to be a fight. And the defense counsel said, you know, look, you are personable. And even if you win, you know, $1.5 million in court, they're going to appeal it. And this can go 5 years. And I'll be honest, when I was told that, my stomach just dropped because I thought, here we are 3 years out. This has completely turned my life upside down in every aspect. I couldn't do my business, you know, and going to the big fairs and the markets and, you know, selling all the stuff that I make. So this is what I did before the accident. On top of the kayak and paddleboard rentals, I make all of this by hand. I make all of the tie-dyes, all of the signs, the stickers, everything. And I run a 10 by 20 space, and I would travel from fairs and farmers markets. And this is what I did for my business. And because of this accident, I had several years where I was not able to do this. I couldn't do the kayak and paddleboard rentals and tours.
I went right into the grass with the blue turtle sitting on the edge.
Yeah, I saw. I couldn't do any of this. So when he said 5 years, it was devastating. I still kind of had the fight in me, but at that point, honestly, to take this 8 years out, and it had taken us so long to even get the court date to begin with, because the courts are so inundated with trials. By the end of it, I just didn't know. So the end of the deposition happens, and Gary and I and my attorney and another one at the firm went to go have lunch, and we just had an honest conversation. Look, do I really have it in me for another 5 years of this fight? And I was just honest, and I said I don't think so. So we came up with a number that we fully did not expect. We did not expect them to accept. We did not expect them to accept. But that was part of it, and we had to do it. So we send the number over, and I'm not legally allowed to talk about the number because it's a do not disclose clause. So I can't talk about that. But we had sent the number over that we were not at all expecting an acceptance of. And about a day and a half later, I get this text from my attorney. Now, let me tell you, we were ecstatic. And yes, I have no doubt that if we would have just gone to trial, we could have gotten a whole lot more. But it also would have been so draining mentally and emotionally to continue this fight, because it was a David and Goliath. And at the end of the day, I felt like we had actually won. We scared them, and they paid. Now, my tips, because a lot of people do not think about this stuff, and this is stuff that thankfully I just didn't do to begin with, and thank God I didn't, because it would have had a completely different outcome. We would have been so screwed if I would have done these things. We wouldn't even have gotten our policy amount. So my tips are, number one, never, ever, ever hold your camera filming yourself while you're driving in a car. That is one thing that they use. That is one thing they looked for. Do not ever do it, because they only need one time. They only need one time to say that you were distracted, you were not paying attention to the road, and tried to say that part of it was your fault. Now, mind you, they actually tried to say, even though I was stopped at a light and this dude was doing the speed he was and just ran into everybody, they were trying to act like somehow we had a hand in it. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. But understand, you pay them the money, but they are not there to pay you. They are not there to actually take care of you as their customer. Don't ever film while you're driving, holding your camera. Number two, get better policies. Make sure that your limits are high. Now, ours was set to $50,000. We honestly thought, hey, that's a good amount, not realizing that that is actually nothing. That is nothing. My surgery alone was $500,000. It was $500,000 to get my neck done. If my health insurance would not have said yes and paid that out, I don't even know what we would have done. I really don't. Make sure you have good coverage, because in the state of Florida, this passed actually a couple of weeks after we filed for my lawsuit, where now you cannot go after them. You can't go after insurance companies for bad faith, which means you can only go after them for your policy amount. Be sure you have a good policy amount. And I know it costs more per month, but Gary and I are examples of we did absolutely nothing wrong. Both of our car accidents, we were stopped at lights and there was nothing we can do. So make sure you have good policy amounts. The other thing I am going to say is if you have a YouTube channel, if you're on social media and you're posting videos and everything else, don't do dumb crap that you say you can't do. In fact, just don't lie. Tell the truth. Tell the truth when you are talking to your own attorney and any other people that you have to talk to. Because let me tell you something, they will dig, they will poke, they will send people out to follow, they will do all of this. And if they catch you in one, if you lie one time, they will find it. So be 100% honest. Now, there were things I still had to do. And I was very clear, hey, our life does not end. I can't stop being a wife and being a mom. I can't just all of a sudden not work. I can't do this. That's not how life works, because the majority of us in America, that's not how things work for us. And even through a major sickness or a major accident or injury, we still have to do simple things. And I told him, I said, I don't have the money to pay somebody to come clean my home. I don't have the money to have, people do our yards or all this other stuff. Like, most Americans don't have that money. We're all, paycheck to paycheck. Like, that's just not real life. So make sure you are telling the truth, because let me tell you, if you lie, they're going to find out and you will be the one left holding the bag. And my last tip is get an attorney. Get an attorney. If anything, to just protect yourself, make sure you are getting the health care that you need. Make sure that you don't have something serious. I never in a million years thought, I knew the day of the accident, something was wrong with my neck and my head. I knew that. I knew my knee hurt. I knew my low back hurt, but never in a million years would I have ever guessed it was that serious or that bad. So go on Google Maps if something ever happens. Look up attorneys, near you. Now, we chose an attorney they're actually based out of Clearwater. It's 2 hours away because we wanted an attorney in a bigger city. We wanted somebody who had a ton of experience and somebody that we could, relate to. I went on several, and when I go to Google Maps, I always look at the newest reviews and I look at the worst reviews, because even if you're looking at the worst reviews, you can weed out what is made up or just stupid reasons for people to give a bad review and what is actually legitimate. And that is how we found our attorney. And we ended up using them for my case, for Gary's case, and then also Dylan used them for his case. In this day and age with distracted drivers, guys, in a moment's notice, your life can be turned upside down. And these are my best tips and my own story of what happened to us. And I hope and I pray that it not only helps you in the future, or maybe something just happened, to you and you haven't gotten an attorney yet. I hope that this helps. I hope that you are never in the situation that we were in, because it took a toll on a lot of aspects of our lives. And we don't think, when we're following the rules and we're safe drivers, that this can ever happen to us. And I'm here to tell you it absolutely can. And so that's my best tips for insurance. That is why insurance companies for car insurance are the biggest stinking Ponzi scheme. And you need to be proactive so that you are protected and you don't find yourself getting screwed over by your insurance company. All right, guys, see you next time.